Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Friday Night Fights. Today I'm covering Russia LARIN versus GBR CHO. Originally I was going to do Korea versus LARIN, and I watched that fight, and to be honest, it was super boring because I think they're both defensive fighters, so a lot of the fight was just them waiting around. And then to get more background on the Russian player, I watched this fight, and more stuff happened during this fight than both players kind of sitting around defensively. So that's why I covered this one. I thought there's some more basic stuff to cover in this game than in the last one as well. This one mostly covers staying strong until the very end. Yes, the game is very basic. There's no really cool spin kicks or highlight reel kicks like we did in the Abu Ghash versus Iran fight I covered last time. But this one covers a lot of basics, a lot of keeping your head cool and adjusting with the small amount of information that your opponent gives you. This is the heavyweight division plus 80, so the game's not as fast as the featherweight or the fin fly division, but it is still something to learn from nonetheless. I have it muted here actually because the announcer is a British guy, and I really like that guy, and I like that he's announcing it for the audience. But for my recording purposes, he's really loud, and sometimes you can't hear me or him, so that's why he's muted. If you guys don't know, the Russian player has been a middleweight for a long time now. He recently moved to heavyweight, I think, starting just last year. And Cho got fifth place at the Olympics. So this guy's pretty well decorated in the plus 80 division, knows what he's doing. They're meeting in the semifinal of the Grand Prix. I really wish I could do it with volume for you guys, but it's really loud. Yeah, it's just really loud. Good. Poke on both sides. Nothing really committed. You guys can tell. Adjustment by Cho right away against LARIN's front foot. This is partially because the Russian player, just showed front foot, but also because the metagame right now, I'm sure if you guys have been playing the sport for a while, or just even started the sport if you're watching tapes, most people are using front leg. It's not something way out of the ordinary for a front leg to come out, so that's why Cho feels comfortable throwing this in the opening 10 seconds of the match. Also, if he were to hit it, the risk reward ratio would be very good because he's really ahead by 4 points already. And if he gets scored on, well, it's only 2 points, and he has 3 rounds to make it up. So risk rewards ratio is not that bad. Good. Something small to notice. Oh, they're both kind of just poking at each other right now. Not too much going in and out. And ooh, nice try. So subtlety, obviously. Um, he double taps the Hogu because usually after people block once, they're really relaxed on the way out. LARIN's on top of it, it covers twice. Sometimes what you can do, especially if someone's only using one arm to block, if you double tap against someone using a one arm block, that'll usually score. But LARIN covering it with two, so no point either side. Something also to note is they're both very close to each other on the edge of distance. Yeah, there's not too much movement, but a lot of, if you guys notice, a slight body leans forward and backwards, especially in the upper weight divisions. That'll change the target directory of your opponent a lot. If you lean back sometimes just a little bit, it'll be enough. It'll be enough of an angle change for your opponent to not score. Um, so that almost in this division replaces like the in and out footwork. Slight motions in and out, and it's quite tiring too. Ooh, nice try. Almost got him there. Cho's been showing a lot of front leg to the head. I'm sure Russia's taking that into consideration already. Good. So small stuff like this, a defensive show for front foot, not really capitalization. I think when this happens right here, Cho knows he kind of got caught. So flash, good. And then so in order for Russia to not capitalize on his mistake of showing a defensive front leg, he changes to attack. So that's something for you guys. If someone fakes at you during a match and you kind of give away your position, something to do instead of sitting on that exact same thing you just showed him is to go on the offensive, which is what Cho did. nullifies whatever kind of combination or offense he would have thought about doing. It kind of resets the game. And both players are very deep, solid defensively. 0-0, obviously, and still a lot of poking. I think they're trying to catch each other just off the line. Nothing too committed in either direction. Like I said, this is kind of a boring match to watch. This is my second go around going through, and it's still a lot of poking, and they're not really giving that much information besides the bare minimum that they need to. Could almost just fast forward through all this, to be honest. But usually in heavyweight, actually, a lot of times in that division, we're very happy, just kind of chilling. Do you want to wait this one out? Do you want to chill a little bit? All right, cool. Let's handle this second round because hell, if we don't need a kick, why not? So what information? Hold on. So going here, what information does each player have? LARIN kind of knows that CHO has his front leg to the face um, deal. Besides that, from LARIN, not too much information picked up besides the bare minimum front leg sometimes back leg. And that's given that 0-0, I'd put this slightly in the Russia's favor because he has shown GBR less cards. So less cards meaning that when LARIN goes back to his coach, this coach has something more to work with than CHO does because CHO's coach has nothing besides the basic metagame, which is sometimes it's a back leg and sometimes it's a front leg. Most of the time it's a front leg. Good. I think that the choice of open stance here is specifically because CHO showed this front leg multiple times in the first round, going to the head. Reset, reset. Feels like he's not going to throw it. Good. So it looks like LARIN's game is pretty much focused around now, just trying to bait CHO into a misstep and then hitting underneath or capitalizing on top of the miss. Because he's still not committed to many attacks, but he is poking more often, and he knows that the right leg is a threat. So in my book, knowing that something's a threat and giving it to your opponent would connotate a trap or that he wants that to come out, knowing that that's the main weapon. Mm, that was a good setup for CHO. I'm not sure why the hesitancy on Russia for that. That was very lucky for Russia to not get hit right there, though. They're also very no, they're also super close. So just small little off the line game. Ooh, good try. That was the trap. I think that's what he's trying to bait him to do. Excellent trap. This is obvious because, like I've been saying, CHO's whole game has been front leg to the head and almost hitting a front leg to the head. Um, this part back here where Russia almost gets hit, I'm pretty sure this is unintentional. I didn't think CHO was gonna throw it. He actually threw it. Said, "Okay, cool." So that card for CHO is still in play. Let's set this up, and he actually almost gets him right there. So good trap. CHO knows he almost got caught with the high five, and now it's just back to more poking around. And the reason, so a lot of people are saying why aren't they going off the line more? Like how come there's not as much action as the other fights? Well, one is because it's heavyweight division, so in order to move all of that um, body weight, it takes a lot more effort. And second, both of their games are predicated on hitting right off the line. So one false move off the line connotates a headshot, like CHO's frontally to the head, or LARIN's whole defense has been in place, counters, and so one mistake off the line is kind of where both of these players are playing, and they're trying to hit each other with the same threat. Good. That was very gutsy of Russia to try for that, knowing that CHO's right leg headshot is sitting there waiting. If you notice that when he threw it, he did lean back, so He kind of knows he's trying to hit under it. He's trying to find a way around Cho's front leg here. Nice try. Nice try on both sides. Very slow game. Not really sure what to do, in my opinion, because he doesn't know how else to bait it. He's tried going for a spin. He's tried going underneath. He's tried multiple ways to get around Cho's front leg guard, and he can't find a way to penetrate. So, in my opinion, his adjustment is going to be to have Cho throw it first and then maybe capitalize on top. That's another one of the options. Good. Cho throwing different looks. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Almost. Cho has to go back for more of a Hogu wipe down. Here we go. So, first round, Cho shows front leg to the face, shows he can spin. Russia doesn't show much of anything. Second round, knowing that Cho can do the right leg to the face a lot, Russia's whole offense was predicated on trying to get around that, leaving and his attempts to spin and his attempt to go underneath have not worked. So the other option is to let it extend, or to clash it on the way up and then follow up after that to try and capitalize. Forward. I think in this situation, if you guys are caught in this situation, I think more motion, more footwork, and more fakes would definitely be something for you guys to look at and look into. Try and get your opponent to, oh, nice try. They're trying to answer back, trying to get them to give a little more bite or more hesitation. Nice try. GBR is trying to find a way around. Oh, that was nice try by LARIN again. For the head. The reason that LARIN's doing that, I think, is because in the first, usually GBR's offense is not predicated on a headshot, so he's very willing to take what GBR is trying to take against him, which is a GBR will go in with the body, LARIN answers with a headshot. Because all of GBR's attacks have not been direct to the head, they've all been to the body, so the body head trade is good for him. For what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so right here, Joe knows that most of the defense has been around LARIN blocking everything. So the reason for these two kicks here is he's trying to get LARIN's arms to move out of the way and sneak another point somewhere else. Good. LARIN's very strong defensively. Obviously, both players strong defensively. 0-0. Good, nice force out. And now something small, as small as this, makes a huge difference going to the third round. 1-0 on a Gumjang in a match that's like this, both players strong defensively, makes a big difference. Good. That's what I was talking about. LARIN knows it's the front leg, right leg. So there's two things. One, Russia knows that Cho knows he has to come in because there's a minute left and he's down by one and nothing's been going up. Second, he knows Cho is sitting on this right leg and his lead almost the weight's on the back. So this is probably gonna come up. How do you deal with that? Well, he's tried spinning and he's tried going underneath. So another third option is what he does here is he goes on top of it, clashes, there's nothing, and then he tries to follow up. So that's a third option for you guys against someone who's using a right leg to the face a lot. Or not right leg, a lead leg to the face. More motions, more motions. He's trying to bait. He's trying to get around that front leg. Ooh, very nice. A little mistake by Cho, obviously, because he got scored on. But the reason for the cut here isn't because he knows Cho's going to come in with me. He knows Cho isn't going to come in left leg. What he's thinking, what Rush is thinking here is to get around and cut off the this right leg to the face. Because if he can block that off like before, then he can follow up. But it just so happened that Cho ran into it, and good for Russia for being accurate. Mistake by Cho to go on back leg against the low cut. Good, nice. Another point. Uh, the only thing to cover here, Russia's still thinking, I think, front leg coming out of GBR. That's the reason this push kick wasn't a direct push kick. It was kind of to feel out if that was coming up, and then if he was gonna lean back and hit it to evade the front leg to the face. But in this case, Cho just backed off it, so he said, "Well, if you're not gonna shoot your leg, I'm just gonna hit you with it." He does that, showing a little bit of desperation. Comes in back leg against LARIN's really good front leg, runs into the cut. And by this, the match is pretty set already. LARIN's only on offense here because he knows he can't let Cho sit here. Actually, I'll go into this a little bit. Rush is going on offense because he knows Cho has to come in for points. Now, why would you do that? Because he doesn't know if Cho has a good enough read on him to counter to set up for traps, and he doesn't want to sit there and get trapped on. And so he knows since he knows Cho has to think offense, he's not thinking defense, which is why Russia's pressuring him right now to knock off some time from the clock. Is he trying to look score right here? I mean, yeah, maybe like if he can, but that's not the point. The point of that offense was to keep Cho off balance. Now the round's reset. There's 7 seconds cut off the clock. That's 25% of the time Cho had left. About 25% of the time Cho had left to try and get points. And Russia's up by one now because Cho was not expecting that kind of an offense. Good defensive cut. Ooh, that was close. That was close. See, if LARIN was on defense the whole time, he'd have to face an offense that was coming up like this for 25 seconds instead of just 18. Here, Cho's going. Cho's set. He knows LARIN's probably defense. Here, offense. Setting traps. Setting traps. You imagine having to try to defend against an offense like that for 25 seconds? Dude, the chances of them scoring there is pretty high. He's I would say both skilled and slightly lucky that he's accurate. That was a good punch. But it's a lot scarier when the momentum's going towards when the momentum is with your opponent going on offense. So the correct answer when you're ahead isn't always to sit on defense like this. Sometimes you have to throw in an attack or throw in some offense on there to kill some time off the clock and to keep your opponent off balance. Cho kind of already knew this 10 seconds in that the match is pretty over. Besides that, they both knows interesting fight. Not that energy draining, not super technically amazing. Like holy cow, did you see all those kicks thrown in there? It was a lot of rock paper scissors, and because of their play style, and they're both very much defense off the line. It makes for an interesting slow game, so to speak. So this recording, yeah, not as long, not too many pieces to pick up, but I think in every fight especially any high level fight, there's a couple things you can pick up. This one, same as always, adjusting to your opponent's offense or defense. Staying strong defensively, obviously you can see pays huge dividends. And then third, when you're ahead, you can look for a lot more cracks in your opponent's defense because they're not thinking about it. This recording, guys, is not as long as my other ones, not as in depth, because they didn't give me as many pieces to work with. But anyway, fights covered. If you guys have any requests for any other fights, please shoot them my way. If you guys could give a like or subscribe, that'd be great. But till then, I'll see you guys probably on Tuesday. See ya.